Okay. Why don't we open the meeting? It's 6:06. Any adjustments to the agenda? Okay. And review and approve the minutes from July 30th.
I make a motion we set the minutes from July 30th.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? No correspondence. New business variance request for 32 High Street. Which article you guys?
32 High Street.
Perfect, first on the list. You guys want to give us a quick rundown of what you're doing?
Absolutely. So there's an existing garage on the property. We're looking to demolish the garage, put in a new foundation with a new garage. The current garage that's on the property is 3.5 feet off the property line. The new garage is proposed to be 5 feet off the property line, so not encroaching any further, but going the opposite way. We had received a letter from our neighbor, the abutting neighbor, and he's on board. It's actually owned by the church, Good Shepherd.
Yep.
So he went through the process of getting it voted on, and it was approved through them.
Did you hear anything from the other neighbor?
On the other side, I have not reached out to Carrie.
So it matters on the direct abutter on the actual variance line.
Okay, where did that?
Yeah,
right.
It's correct. Why is it you can't, you chose not to approve this? Because I guess my question is because it's less non-conforming than it was before.
But it's still not.
It still has to do with variance.
You still don't have enough land to move it to the actual variance line.
Right.
It would be in the
Right.
neighbor's yard.
And because it's a knockdown, it was a rebuild, it has to go.
Do
It
the
would
whole
do it,
process.
right, has to do the whole process.
The old garage was grandfathered because it was there before the law. The new garage is not grandfathered, so it has to go. So in order for it to go for the new one, we have to give it a variance.
You have any qualms, or notions about it?
We'll have requests when they submit their building permit, because the house is gonna be 9 feet away from the garage, which means it's gotta be fire stopped.
Yeah, 1 hour walls on each adjacent building.
And 2021 code, which is a little different than 2015. The whole garage has to be firewall.
Okay, absolutely.
But any concerns you have, they understand they're willing to.
So you want us to go down through and do the packet?
I mean, go back to this.
Finding the back. Yep.
All right, I can start standing. I would make a motion that the applicant does have standing.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Number 2, the zoning board of appeals has the authority. I would make a motion that yes, we do.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Number 3, determine the proposed variance prevention of unnecessary undue hardship by literal enforcement of chapter 38 of the Rangeley Town Code without being contrary to the public interest. The zoning board of appeals shall consider the following: that the variance request is of nature that may be authorized, limited to height, area, and size of structures, size of yards or open spaces, or setback reduction. I think we understand that the setback is actually going to be a setback increase. We're going from 3.5 feet to 5 feet.
Improvement, yes.
That the land in question cannot yield a reasonable return unless a variance is granted. Right now with the existing garage, I mean, it's understandable that if we eliminate that, then he's not able to have the garage. that the need for variance,
Keep in mind, Dennis, above the garage, what's different about this?
it's got an apartment,
Living
right?
quarters above the garage for long-term rental.
Right.
And knowing that you guys are aware, this is an ADU,
Yes,
which means you can't rent it for any less than 6 months at a time, according to chapter 38.
right, no, it is
Okay.
definitely long-term, someone local working here.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
Affordable income.
That the need for a variance is due to unique circumstances of the property, that's understandable because that building was non-conforming when the ordinance was passed. That the granting of a variance will not alter essential character of the locality, all those buildings are right next to each other, they all look the same, I don't think that's gonna change it. That the hardship is not a result of action taken by the applicant, they bought that place the way it was. The Board of Appeals finds that the variance does or does not prevent unnecessary or undue hardship by literal enforcement without negatively affecting public interest. I would say does not. Does that make sense? So I'll make a motion that we rule that it does not.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
If the proposed variance is a setback adjustment, the zoning board of appeals shall also consider the following: that the structure is a single-family dwelling that is primary year-round residence of the applicant. It is a single-family dwelling, but it's gonna be multiple, right? Family,
Well, ADU, so it's a primary residence.
right? That any variance granted will not exceed 20% of the setback. That the variance will not cause the dwelling to exceed the maximum allowable lot coverage. We're pretty much putting it, is the garage you're building same square footage? Base footprint,
Each direction.
but he's still under the lot coverage. Okay.
The concern that we had was if the ADU can't be more than 50% of the square footage of the primary dwelling, that's not.
That the granting of the variance is based upon demonstrated need, not convenience. Based on 80, the zoning board of appeals finds that the proposed variance does meet the criteria for a setback reduction.
I'll make a motion that it does meet the criteria for setback.
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
and number 6. Based on the above proceeding findings and conclusions of variance request is hereby, I would make a motion that we grant it.
Second,
Any conditions?
it's pending Breck's approval of the building
Well,
permit.
no, the variance would be your approval. Then you have to deal with me on the building permit.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it'd be different.
Without condition.
Just made the motion, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you guys very much.
Need one of those red buttons.
I'll have a packet for you guys. Either. Thursday.
Thank you for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Drive safe tonight.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go that way, Dennis will sign it.
Oh, Joyce.
Huh?
I said it's another choice.
Which one you want to do next?
Well, next one is gonna be 7 Center Street.
Okay,
Frank couldn't be here tonight. But this is a relatively straightforward one. We have a unusually small lot just behind Dom's garage, or what used to be Dom's garage.
yeah, Dom's and,
And, I didn't know when Dennis was gonna close on Dom's garage. So you can see the letter that I had them sign, the variance.
go ahead, Dennis, sign it too, yeah.
Both of them, they both approved it.
Good.
So, we put the garage in, he didn't want to get closer than 10 feet coming into his house, so
Yep.
we not do it's a prefab garage coming in. And it's gonna be, and if you look at that lot, there's nothing but bamboo sheets between, garage and where his garage is gonna go, so. They were fine with it. Let us attack, and he lives year round.
All right, we'll start the paperwork. And the applicant has standing to present this application as owner. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
2, authority of the zoning board of appeals has authority to consider the application by section 38.4.3 of the Rangeley Town Code. The code enforcement officer had made this determination on August 5th, 2025. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
3, that the variance request is of a nature that may be authorized, limited to height, area, and size structures, size yards, open spaces, setbacks, and reductions. I think it meets that. That the land in question cannot yield a reasonable return unless variance is granted.
That's true.
How do you decide that?
Huh?
I said, how do you decide that?
Well,
He's adding the garage, so he's adding value to the
right.
project.
Well, yeah, I understand that part of it.
So if he doesn't get a variance.
You can't put the garage in, because there's no other way to do it. Okay, that the need for the variance is due to a unique circumstance in the property and not a general conditions in the neighborhood. Yes. It's a funky lot, small lot. That the granting of the variance will not alter the essential character of the locality. I don't believe it will. That the hardship is not a result or action taken by the applicant of a prior owner. I don't believe it is. Do you guys?
I don't know about it.
Well, prior owner didn't have a garage.
Right. I didn't have anything in there. Just that space between 7 Center Street and Dom's.
Yeah.
Fence, tree line, bush, grow, whatever it is. Okay, based on 3A through D above, the zoning board of appeals finds the proposed variance does or does not prevent unnecessary or undue hardship by literal enforcement without negatively affecting the public interest. So I believe does not, right?
Right.
Does not. I'll make that motion.
Second it.
All in favor?
You're reading the law.
Right.
If the proposed variance is a setback adjustment, the zoning board of appeals shall also consider the following: that the structure is a single family dwelling that is a primary year-round residence of the applicant, and it is, correct?
Yes.
That the variance granted will not exceed 20% of the setback requirements unless the petitioner has obtained written consent of all affected abutters and landowners, and if he has, correct? We got that letter. That the variance will not cause the dwelling to exceed the maximum allowable lot coverage. It doesn't? That the setback reduction shall not further encroach upon or further reduce a non-conforming setback from the normal high water level on land edge of a freshwater wetland within a shoreline zone as defined herein, and it doesn't. That the granting of this variance is based upon demonstrated need, not convenience, and no other feasible alternative is available, which there isn't. Based on 4A through E above, the zoning board of appeals finds the proposed variance does or does not meet the criteria of the setback reduction. It does meet. I'll make that motion.
Second it.
All in favor?
Determining based upon the preceding findings and conclusion, the variance request is hereby granted with the granted, I'm assuming, right? with no noted conditions. So it's granted. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right, so this one I was a little confused about.
Yeah, so let me give you this. So a year ago, this was an Ellen project. They asked me to come down and take a look. It was a dwelling that was literally in disrepair. They had been coming to it, living in it. It was any kind of construction was going to be greater than 50% of the value, so it was a knockdown. Because it was a knockdown, they had to go for the planning board because they had to move it back to the furthest point that they could possibly do it reasonably. So they went from about 20 feet from the shore all the way back to 75 feet. As they go back, it's kind of a trapezoid and it narrows a little bit. This was a prefab house, and they actually had the roof beefed up to code and everything else. When they came to put the house in place, they realized that the exit door was on the side, not the back of the house. So the side of the house was exactly 20 feet from the property line. So they had to put a small deck with stairs going down, goes 5 feet out. Typically, with a 20%, which would have been 4 feet, they wouldn't need a letter rate from the abutter. But because it was 5 feet, they needed a letter from the abutter saying this is okay. That letter is in here, they've approved it. So basically what he's asking is, make it legal, is that we didn't have any choice but to put that's where the exit door is.
Right.
The house came a little different than what they had ordered. They'd already had it replaced and installed it, so they weren't gonna take it down and take it back. So they're asking for basically a 5-foot variance, and the abutter next door approved it and wrote the letter and said 5 foot.
Theoretically, I mean, we went from 20 feet away from the lake to 75 feet from the lake. And in doing that, we created a problem from this door came right alongside.
Well,
But we gained more by gaining that extra 55 feet than we're gonna lose by, any problems we caused with that.
they went back because the house like almost a trapezoid.
Right.
They shimmied it 20 feet on either side, right as far back as they could go without encroaching. When they put the house in, they realized, oh my goodness, the door is on the exit door on the left-hand side of the building, not the back.
And the floor plan inside probably didn't lend itself well to changing the door to the back.
So we have code enforcement have no jurisdiction over pre-built housing manufacturing because they are certified by the state. So our hands are off. The only thing we have control over, site plan, the zoning, basement, and in some cases, the roof. But if the roof is prefabbed at the factory, we have no say. We can only plead with them to raise up to 50 pounds per square foot, up to 100. We can't make them do it because the state already said this is okay.
They've already been, engineering standards already been approved for pre-manufactured houses.
So it's been a little frustrating for us up here, but we're making some headway. So basically what he's asking for is 5 feet. So from 20 feet to 15 feet. So he put his deck on, get out of his house. So it's kind of a safety issue as well. It was not planned that way, but that's how it ended up.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Well, because it was like a 12-foot down the side, 5 feet wide. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a really small deck.
Who's trying to encroach as little as possible.
Hey, the applicant has standing to present this application as owner. That was from the planning board. But standing, the applicant has standing to present this application as the owner. Seems that they do. So I make a motion that they do.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? Authority. The zoning board of appeals has authority to consider this application by section 38.4.3 of the Rangeley Town Code. The code enforcement officer made this determination on 10/22/25. Seems that that's true. So I make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? In determining the proposed variance, prevention of unnecessary or overdue hardship by literal enforcement of chapter 38 of the Rangeley Town Code without being contrary to the public interest, the zoning board of appeals shall consider the following: that the variance request is of a nature that may be authorized, limited to height, area, and size of structure, size of yards or open spaces, or setback reduction.
I believe it does.
It seems like we do. Yep. That the land in question cannot yield a reasonable return unless a variance is granted.
Pretty hard to get in and out of your house without
That's true.
a.
That the need for a variance is due to the unique circumstances of the property and not to the general condition of the neighborhood. That seems true.
Yeah.
That the granting of a variance will not alter the essential character of the locality. It's all pretty tight down there, so. Yeah. That the hardship is not the result of action taken by the applicant of a prior owner. Based on 3A through D above, the zoning board of appeals finds that the proposed variance does or does not prevent unnecessary or undue hardship by literal enforcement negatively affecting public interest. Seems like it does not. I make a motion to that effect.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? If the proposed variance is a setback adjustment, the zoning board of appeals shall also consider the following: that the structure is a single family dwelling that is the necessary primary year-round resident of the applicant. That's true? Okay. That any variance granted will not exceed 20% of the setback requirement unless the petitioner has obtained written consent of all affected abutting landowners.
Which he
Yes,
has.
they did. Yeah. That the variance will not cause the dwelling to exceed the maximum allowable lot coverage, which it doesn't. That the setback reduction shall not further encroach upon or further reduce the non-conforming setback from the normal high water line or upland edge of the freshwater wetland within a shoreland zone as defined herein. It doesn't. Okay. That the granting of the variance is based upon demonstrated need, not convenience, or other feasible alternative is available. And no other feasible alternative is available. Doesn't seem that there is. So. Based on 4A through E above, the zoning board of appeals finds that the proposed variance does or does not meet the criteria for a setback reduction. It does. So I make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? If the proposed variance is in a shoreland zoning area required by section 38.7.6 of the town of Rangeley, of the Rangeley Town Code, the zoning board of appeals shall determine if the following criteria has been met. No result in unreasonable damage to wildlife or habitat. Doesn't seem to happen. reasonable conservation of shoreland vegetation. Should improve, actually. Reasonable conservation of visual points of access to the water or view from public facilities. That doesn't seem to exist.
Is that improved? Move it back, so.
Conservation of points of public access to water,
Yeah, there are no.
not applicable. Reasonable conservation of natural beauty, they probably improved it. Depends on how you look at it. Reasonable avoidance of problems associated with floodplain development or use, probably improved.
They actually installed French drains and some other items, so. Because they're actually living in a bowl. So when everything melts, they usually have a little bit of wet area during the spring. They put in some French drains and some other issues that should alleviate even that. So that's an improvement.
No result in unsafe or unhealthful conditions, doesn't seem to. No result in erosion or sedimentation. Nothing was created in the course of the work. No result in water pollution. Protection of archaeological resources as designated in the comprehensive plan. That's good. I don't even know what those are. So, based on 5A through J about zoning board of appeals finds the proposed variance does or does not meet the requirements within the shoreland areas. Seems as though it does. So I make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Conditions, if any, required to ensure compliance with the above sections of the Rangeley Town Code. Conditions may include specifications for landscaping, fencing, parking, and construction materials. Determination based upon the preceding findings and conclusions, the variance request is hereby granted. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Should have put a dog there, but it's not smart enough. Great signature, well, great itself.
Anything else we need to discuss?
No, continuing business,
Jason Sevens.
huh?
Yeah, I gotta find it again.
Yes, there's any other business we've got business on there. And that's just the adjournment.
Okay, anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
What time was it? 34? Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for everything.